Good morning and welcome to the Knit Shift, episode 29. My name is Laura and today is Wednesday, October 14th, 2015. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. This is a knitting podcast where I talk about yarn and knitting and crochet and all of those sorts of fibery things. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for joining me again. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but it's the Knit Shift because I work the night shift. So that's where the podcast name came from. I'm a journalist and I live in Southeast Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia to be specific. Norfolk, if you're from here. But I feel like Norfolk is too much of a stretch for me as I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been here 10 years, but still, it's Norfolk. Anyway, so show notes can be found at theknitshift.com. I'm on Instagram as Laura Mahalski. I'm on Ravelry as Yarnstormer. And we have a group on Ravelry for the podcast. If you do a search for The Knit Shift, you will find us, so come on by. I had just one little bit of podcast housekeeping to do. I'm going to record next week, around the 21st or the 22nd. I've been recording on Wednesdays or Thursdays. But the week after that, the 28th or the 29th, I am probably not going to record. It's right before I go out of town for SAF, and even though I record on a given day, it often takes me until the next day to get the podcast edited and uploaded where it needs to be in the various places. So I'm probably going to skip the week of the 28th, 29th in there. So 2 episodes from now. So apologies. It's only the third episode I will have skipped recording in more than 6 months. So that's not that bad of a record, I suppose. But that's it for housekeeping. On this week's episode, I have a new finished knit to show you. I have major progress, major progress on a whip. And I resurrected a really, really, really old whip. It's one you've never seen on this podcast, and I started this, like I said, almost 7 months ago. I haven't knit on it in 14 months, but I'm knitting on it again now, and that's what matters. So stay tuned for that. And I have a little bit of stash enhancement. So let's get to it. Pardon me. It's really gorgeous here right now, weather-wise. Gorgeous fall weather here is in the 60s and low 70s, but which is wonderful because it's been super hot and muggy a lot of the summer, and we have 2 days next week that are forecast to go down. The high is only in the 50s, and I'm very excited for that. So I can't wait for more fall weather. October might be my favorite month of the year. I don't do pumpkin spice lattes. Sorry, not sorry. They aren't my jam, but if you enjoy them, have at them. Have all the pumpkin spice lattes for me. But I am enjoying my chai tea in the morning. It's just so spicy and delicious and very fall-like to me. So let's get to the FO, shall we? I'm not going to model this because I just got out of the shower and my hair is still drying, and short hair, the curls will smush and then it'll be a hot mess. So but you can at least see the hat on my hand. This is a sockhead hat. This is a free pattern by Kelly McClure. I don't know when I started this, but I've knit this pattern, it must be 5 or 6 times now. I did not make this a slouchy hat. The pattern calls for making it slouchy. Just kind of I guess beanie isn't the right style. This is more of a beanie. Or a toboggan hat with a fold-over brim. I suppose if I wanted it to be slouchy, I would roll the brim down and just wear it like this. But, I wasn't super in love with it while I was knitting it, but now that it's done, I like it a bit more. I've washed it and blocked it, and I kind of like how the top of the hat looks with the stripes there. This yarn is Nomadic Yarns. It's her Twisty Sport Base. It's an 80-20 merino nylon mix. And it's a skein of 328 yards, or really a ball, because it comes in a ball. And I have this much left over, probably 20 grams or so. So I could definitely get a baby hat out of this, which I'm thinking I might do. I use size 3 needles, Chigu needles, my old standbys. And I cast on 100 for the ribbing, and then I knit the ribbing till I was sick of it, which was about 4 inches. And then I increased 12 when I started the stockinette to give it a little more, I didn't change the needle size. Some people just change the needle size to make it a little bigger, but I just increased stitches because I was lazy. And I liked the fabric I was getting on a 3, to be honest. So I increased 12 stitches evenly with an online stitch calculator, which I will link to in the show notes. And then I had 112, so I just knit stockinette, and yeah, I really like this. And if I didn't mention it, this is the colorway when you play the Game of Thrones. It's a 10 stripe repeat, so I think the reason I wasn't super in love with this as I knit it is because the stripes knit up unevenly, because I use such a large circumference project, basically. If I had knit socks, of course, the yarn would have striped up quite nicely. But it's very soft. I think it will wear well with the nylon, and I'm excited to wear this in the fall. So there you have it. I believe, I don't know if this is my first hat of the year. It might be. I don't know if I've knit any other hats. I counted up my projects the other day that I've knit this year so far, and I was stunned to see that I have knit more shawls than I have socks. That never happens. Never. Ever. I think I've knit 7 shawls or 6 shawls, 6 or 7 shawls, and only 5 or 6 pairs of socks, which is crazy. Crazy. That's not like me normally. So that's it for my finished knits this week. Let me adjust the computer here. Don't want to have a computer fall. Okay, hopefully that didn't make anyone seasick. And I showed you last week a pair of socks I had started, and I have had some progress on those, but not enough that I felt like showing you this week. But I did pick up a shawl I've been knitting for quite some time, and I am almost done with this darn thing. So this is the sailing shawl. Sorry, the needles are clacking on the microphone. So this is the sailing shawl, which is a $6 pattern by Meg Gadsby. It's written for 2 sizes, fingering or DK weight, and it's basically an asymmetrical shawl made up of alternating garter and stockinette sections, basically. So you can see this string dangling here in the middle. I was pulling the yarn out of the cake and it got tangled, and I had to cut the yarn in the middle of the row, which is a bummer, but not a big deal. I think I can weave in the end nicely. So this stitch marker right here shows you where I was, and since this is where it was last on the podcast, but really I was maybe here before last week. Sorry, that's the wrong finger to point at the stitch marker with. I'll use my pointer finger, not my middle finger. So I was about here for the past month, and then in the past week I've knit all of this, so I've made a lot of progress. This is a very fast knit. I won't explain, it's a paid for pattern, so I cannot explain the stitch count, or I mean the pattern basically, but like I said, it's garter and stockinette, and I only have like 5 or 6 more sections to go. This yarn is Malabrigo Machita, which is a fingering weight sock yarn, or not sock yarn, it's just a fingering weight yarn. It's a single ply, as you can see, so it would not make good socks. And the colorway is Diana. It's 420 yards of wool, and I don't think there's any nylon in this. I don't have the label with me. I'm bad about holding on to that, but you can see it's kind of a floppy cake right now. I'm pulling from the middle, but I'm not worried about, famous last words, but I'm not worried about running out of yarn at all. So I'm really enjoying how this is working up. It's a very easy, kind of a meditative knit because it's just garter and stockinette, and before you know it, you're at the end of the section. So yeah, there's what the fabric looks like. I'm really enjoying how it's knitting up. This is a great pattern if you have a single skein of multicolor sock yarn, or even solid, but I really love how the multicolor yarn is working up, and I think I'm knitting this on size 7s, and I think this is going to block out quite nicely. It's got a lot of stretch to it, and I like a big shawl, so I'm thinking this will block out. And really, to me, this is more of a scarf. I can put it on and kind of wrap it around myself. It's kind of awkward with the needles, but it's like a mini shawl, I guess you could say. So hopefully next week I will have this finished. I don't know if it'll be blocked, but I'll do my darndest to finish it. by next Wednesday or Thursday. I kind of have a self-imposed deadline on this project. I won't get into it, but I'd like to finish it in the next 2 weeks, basically. So, what else does that bring me to? Looking at my phone for my notes. Oh, so I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I have a very old work in progress to show you. I started this in January 2013. I went back on Ravelry to check. And I'd made a lot of progress at first, but this is definitely a project that you pick up and put down. And it is a mitered square blanket. And I have not knit on this since August of 2014, which is quite sad. But now that I picked it up again, I'm like, oh man, I've been missing out on this all this time. I know a lot of people call this the Cozy Memories blanket. I'm trying to decide how to put this into words, and I should have done this before I started recording. I don't like the name Cozy Memories. It's apt, I suppose, but it's just a little too sweet for me. It's a mitered square blanket, to me, so that's what I call it. But I really love it so much. I have not repeated a color yet, and I'm at about 100 squares. I had very generous friends who mailed me sock yarn from all over the world. I had a friend in Seattle, a friend in England, a couple friends in DC, a friend in, just all over. Indiana. I had friends from all over mail me their sock yarn leftovers because they weren't using them, had no use for them, and I've been putting those in as well. So if you see me at SAF, where I'm going in 2 weeks, I have some Knit Shift swag bags that I'm working on. So they will contain some Knit Shift swag, some candy, and at least one mini skein, because I'm trying not to repeat any colors in this blanket, so once I knit a square, that might be it. I'm not holding fast to that necessarily. We'll see how I get after 300 squares or so. I probably will have to repeat, because there's no way I get enough individual leftovers to knit a single square. As you can see, it is 100 squares and approximately 18 inches tall. So I would need like 400 or 500 colorways to make this work, and that's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. But for now, I'm going to try and not repeat until I have to. So yes, I will have Knit Shift little tiny swag bags. They're nothing too fancy, with at least one mini skein in each of them. If you see me at SAF, come say hi. And if I don't know you at SAF, I'll just give you a bag anyway. I'll be like, Oprah, you get a bag, and you get a bag. You get mini yarn. So I really love this so much. I love crazy rainbow colors, so I'm really loving this. I have a moderate regret that I did not knit this as a square, as a square pattern, because then I wouldn't have these diamond edges sticking off. But I think what I'll do is I will get some like black sock yarn and do like a tight I-cord 3-needle bind off edging type thing around the edges, and that'll give it some structure around the edge, I hope. So yeah, so in the past, I picked this up this week and I put on this square, which is, the Flying Kettle, Grog-Bellied Sea Dog. I knit a pair of socks out of this. And I also attached this guy. This is Malabrigo sock in, I forget the colorway name, Solis, I think, and I knit 2 baby vests out of this. And I attached this, which is Gail's Art Yarn in Graffiti and Asphalt, her Wonder Sock base. So yeah, I'm really loving this. I'm using size 3 double points to knit this. Hi Grace, do you want to come up and join me? Come on up. Gracie is standing next to me, and she really, really wants a Greenie. I can't even mention that color name without her freaking out. So, yeah, so she might start whining in a bit, and I might have to stop and go get her almost daily treat. Yeah. Hi, do you want to come see me? Come say hi on the podcast? Sweet girl. Sweet girl. I had a 4-day weekend this past week, and I've been taking a nice WALK with her almost every day. Just really enjoying this fall weather so much. So yeah, I have this on my Ravelry project page, but it's a very simple mitered square blanket pattern that most people are using. And one thing I did differently was the center stitch I am doing as a stockinette row. So on the wrong side, I purl that center stitch. And I really like the look it gives this. I think it makes it look really sharp. So I have my modifications on my Ravelry page, so you can take a look at that. So yeah. But it's so fun to look at these because I have, let me find, like this square here. This is Socks That Rock Lightweight Fire on the Mountain. This was my first ever pair of socks for myself. And I knit socks for a coworker who had twin boys. Out of this is Lorna's Lace's shepherd sock, and the boys are 7 now. Can you believe that? It's a memory of sock knitting. I knit this blue and orange. This is Socks That Rock medium weight in Krabby McHappy Pants. Or is it Krabby McCrabby Pants? She has 2 colorways. Krabby McHappy Pants, Krabby McCrabby Pants. I honestly can't remember. But I knit a pair of socks for my dad when he was sick with colon cancer out of this yarn. So I have fond memories of knitting, I say fond, emotional memories of knitting that sock yarn into a pair of socks. What else is in here? I love looking at this so much. Socks that I knit for friends, for myself, for family, just really fun memories. And you can see I love multicolor, I love solid, I love semi-solid, and the more I talk about this yarn, the more I want to stop recording and go cast on a square right now. So I probably won't show this every week, but as I finish a row, perhaps I will. Basically, I have 10 squares in the first row and then 9 in the second. So every time I finish a row across, and I do finish a row and then start the next, and I fill in at random. I don't start in one corner and work my way over. As I finished each row, I weave in the ends so that I'm not overwhelmed with leftover ends. And it takes 20 minutes after I finish a row, and I'd much rather do it that way than wait till the end and have hundreds and hundreds of ends to weave in. So there you have it, my little blanket. Mitered square blanket. Hi, Grace. I know what you want, and I'm sorry you have to wait. So that brings me to Future Knits, which is kind of a recurring segment these days. On my previous episode, episode 28, I spoke about really wanting to knit a colorwork hat. And while that urge has kind of passed me over right now, I want to thank Swagco in the Ravelry group for mentioning Kate Davies. I couldn't remember the name of this Scottish designer who I was thinking about last week, and she reminded me of the name. It's Kate Davies, who designs knee heed and all sorts of awesome colorwork patterns. So thank you, Swagco. And this week, I'm really thinking about knitting a vest or my next sweater. I have a couple sweaters quantities in my stash, and I really love the gray sweater that I knit, and I'm dying to cast on a sweater. And I spent a good 20 minutes on Ravelry this weekend. My mom is knitting herself a vest, and I consider it a personal quest or duty, be it as her daughter or as anyone's friend, as any knitter's friend. If someone says they want to find a pattern and they don't know how to find it or don't know what they want, I take it upon myself to go hunting. It's kind of unsolicited, sorry Mom, but I love looking for patterns, and I know my mom. I think I know what she would look good in and what she would like to knit. So I went looking for a lot of patterns, and I think she found one in her stash, actually. Okay, Grace. Oh boy, there must be a FedEx truck, because the guard dog has something to say about it. Oh, I know. Get that. Gracie does not like the UPS man or UPS lady. She doesn't like the postal workers. She knows the beep when they pull up in our driveway, which is right out here. She hears the truck door open, and that sets her off first. And then she hears them scan a package, and she knows the beep and freaks out. She hates the UPS people and FedEx people so much. Anyway, I digress. What was I talking about? So I really want to knit a vest or a sweater, but I think I might wait until after SAF to cast one on because I have better travel projects in mind, and I just don't think I want to take a sweater with me. But again, 2 weeks away, I might change my mind. So that brings me to yarns. Well, I was on Little Knits. I get Little Knits emails about their sales, and I went browsing in their sock yarn as I am wont to do, and this is how I fell victim to marketing. They had a sock line called Opal Best Friends, and the colorway names were Han and Chewy, and Marty and Doc, Thelma and Louise, Ferris and Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Just all of these awesome movie names, and they totally fit the colors I could see being from that movie or from that movie relationship, basically. I know, Gracie, I know. You hear the FedEx trucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if there's dog whining. Oh, and she's stepping on a toy in disgust. Gracie, what's the matter? Come here. There probably is a truck. I just can't see it out the window. So anyway, I had to buy Han and Chewie. My brother loves Star Wars. My boyfriend loves Star Wars. And I really thought this is a good male sock yarn color. I would knit them for myself too, but it's an especially good male sock yarn. And so I pull it out, and nothing on this says, oh, well, it does say Best Friends. Here's the color, Opal Best Friends, but this calls the colorway Click. There's no mention of Han and Chewie on here, so I think what happened is Little Knits decided to, and the colorway is 8867. Little Knits decided to just give them English names from the German. So, you win, Little Knits. I fell victim to your marketing. But tell me this isn't Han and Chewy. I mean, it's light browns and grays and slate gray and a tiny little blip of pale blue. Really nice sock yarn. So that's one skein. And then I also bought Marty and Doc. Because, again, how is this? This is like a DeLorean and Michael J. Fox's jacket all in one. And again, it says Blutsbruder, and I think Bruder is brother, but I don't know what the first half of the word is. So again, these are friends. These kangaroos, randomly, are friends, but there is no mention of Marty and Doc. And this on here, the colorway is Blutsbruder, and the colorway is 8862. So I really like this traditional opal 75-25 wool polyamide, and 400 something yards, 425 meters, so I think that's about 450 yards, 460 yards. So I bought those two. They were a good price. And then I also bought a gray, solid gray contrasting color just for, I thought this would be good for like the heels with these two sock yarns, especially this guy. So I bought a gray. And then, because it was on super sale, I also bought this skein of opal Shafpat. I don't know. But it's oranges and blues. It's rusty orange and kind of a terracotta and dark blue and dark brown. And I think it'll just make a really nice striped sock. There's what it looks like there. And the line is this here in script. I won't even try and pronounce it. And the colorway is 7254. So there you have it. That was my purchase from Little Knits, and Little Knits is a very fast shipper. I really like them. So check it out if you are in need of some discount sock yarn. What else? I think this brings us to odds and ends. So yes, it's been a really good week. I had a 4-day weekend. I took a day off to make up for all the time I worked during our crazy rain the week before. And then I had already planned to take off Saturday for my friend's wedding, which was really lovely. The ceremony was Saturday morning, and it was down in the Dismal Swamp State Park in North Carolina, about 40 minutes from here. And it was held, we had to walk about 10 minutes down a path in the woods, and it was held in front of an old moonshine still. Apparently a legit former moonshine still. And it was really lovely, and it was a brief ceremony, but it was so them. You know, it was so the bride and groom. They're very artsy. The groom is a stained glass artist and just really good at art, and they love nature, they love camping. It was just so them. The bride's bouquet was yellow sunflowers and cotton and sticks. It was gorgeous. It sounds kind of weird, but it was really lovely. Cotton is the first flower Alex ever gave her, so that's why she put cotton in the bouquet. She made the bouquet herself that morning, I think. It was just really nice. So, and then after the ceremony, we walked back to the Welcome Center, and we had a catered, like, assembly line, serve yourself, pulled pork, mac and cheese, coleslaw, baked beans, really good Carolina pulled pork barbecue with the vinegar sauce, because that's how we do it around here. And we ate in the room the food was served in was full of examples of wildlife that the park has, and it was all taxidermy. So there were nutria and a couple bears and a fox and an otter, freshwater otter, all sorts of things, birds, and it was fantastic. There was a really beautiful turkey, and so I hung out with the bride is a former coworker of mine, and so at the wedding ceremony, we all kind of hung out together, all of us who work or used to work together. And so we were among the first ones back to the Welcome Center for food, because journalists know to go get the food. Like, we don't mess around. So, we were some of the first people in the room, and we were like, oh my goodness, this taxidermy is amazing. So I went to my friend Emily, and I said, Emily, let's take a selfie with the nutria. And that kind of unleashed the floodgates, because more people were coming in, and I think they were not, like, everyone wanted to take pictures with the animals, but I think we broke the ice, Emily and I. So I think I put that photo on Instagram, and I think I took a photo with the black bear, and that's up there too. It was really fun. So I went back home. Josh, my boyfriend, couldn't come with me. He had to volunteer to race for a school club, and then he had to study and take an exam that evening at like 5:30. So after he took the exam, we got gussied up and we went over to the reception, which was at this really cool event space in Norfolk. Right near our office building, actually, there's been a lot of rejuvenation, and it's an official arts district now, the Downtown Norfolk Arts District. So there's a lot of murals everywhere. There's a new mural popping up every day. And the reception was held in this former Texaco building, former garage that has been converted into this awesome event space. So it was really nice. We had some drinks, had some snacks, had a piece of the groom's cake, which my friend baked. A friend of mine who works at the newspaper with me, she's a fantastic, talented baker, and she made an armadillo cake, like in Steel Magnolias, for the groom. And it was delicious, and it was amazing, and it looked really gross when we were done with it. The head was on the table, and then my boyfriend ate the ears, which was kind of gross. They were delicious. Even though they were mostly fondant, they were delicious. But it looked like roadkill, to be honest, left on the platter. It was kind of amazingly gross. So I just did a lot of knitting. I was off Sunday, Monday, like normal, and I did a lot of knitting, like you saw on the sailing shawl, and yeah, it was just a really nice weekend. The Walking Dead came back Sunday, if you're a fan of that. Thumbs up, that was an amazing premiere. And I also started watching Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, which is on Netflix. It's a really fun show. It's from the Australian Broadcasting Company, and it's set in like the 1920s or 30s, and it's this woman she's a single woman, she's really rich, she came into money, and she goes out and solves mysteries, and the costumes are amazing. She's a lady about town. She has a lot of love interests. She's just kind of this awesome kick-butt character, so I highly recommend it. It's a fun show for knitting, for watching while you knit. So, and that brings me to, I don't know where I put my lip gloss. Oh, here it is. I haven't done a lipstick of the week in a while, and I know some people really like that. So I am wearing today Avon Ultra Glaze Wear lip gloss, and it's the colorway Fiery Red. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with it, even after drinking water a few times. It looks, oh, I have a little, I messed it up, and it's been like that the whole episode. Oops, sorry. So it looks kind of pinkish to me more than red, but I really like it. So, yep, oops. I've probably had messy lipstick the entire time. So be it. Anyway, I think that's the end of the episode. So thank you for watching this week. Happy knitting, happy crafting. Hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.